disappeared. County Sealer Wayne Taylor has been excused. Board of Elections, Allison McGahee or Sue Montgomery Corey. No report. District Attorney, here she is on cue.
I have no formal report. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
Happy New Year, everyone.
Okay. Emergency Services, Don Dickwich.
Good morning. I'm sorry I was a little late getting the agenda down to the clerk of the board, but I do have some resolutions. The first one is I'd like to amend the Murray Law Firm contract, which is Jackie Murray's contract for the radio project, the capital project. I'd like to add not to exceed $10,000 into that contract. It was extended till December of 2017, but we didn't put any money in it. We do owe a small amount of money, and I don't foresee a large sum being needed in the future. However, we do have three issues that still remain unresolved on Mount Morris, Palmer Hill, and Belfry Mountain. So I would like to have some money in there to pay her. There will be some small legal fees coming up.
Do you have any idea how much we need amount up to?
Up to $10,000.
All right.
That'll come out of the the communications project.
Yeah, the radio project.
Yes.
He's moving. Oh, yep. You gonna move, Mr. Mika? Yes. Second? Mr. Moore, questions, concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, and a second resolution is permission to go out to a request for proposal for a hazard mitigation plan. 2015, we applied for this plan, and they just awarded it in December. They gave me an email. They have not given me a declaration letter. The amount of the grant is $43,000. Essex County's hazard mitigation plan is required so that each town can qualify for mitigation funding. Our plan has been extended because it actually expired. They're only good for 3 years. So I'd like to go out to RFP with this grant to hire another firm to write the new grant. New plan, excuse me.
Second, Mr. Whitson. Questions, concerns? You said that's $43,000.
Yes.
Again, this is paid for by the grant, right? I mean, you're gonna hire somebody to develop the plan, and it's going to be paid for by grant funds.
That's correct.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, and I have a third one is a budget amendment, and that is for amending the radio project. We received a grant for $420,000. I know Mike brought it through at the last public safety, but there were questions as to what we were expending it on. So we approved the grant, receipt of the grant, but the monies that were expended on, I can tell you, one is the rebuild of the Terry Mountain Tower. The tower, remember, was swaying in the wind, so we budgeted around $200,000 to do that work from the grant. It became unnecessary as AT&T, as a trade-off to allow them to put panels up there, did do the rebuild on the tower, which again left us with the $180,000 in the grant funding. So we've now taken that with permission of DISH's, Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Services, and redirecting that towards the maintenance of the LMR. Remember, we discussed that, $179,000. Well, now we're going to pay for it with the grant funding. The other equipment is inoperable base stations. The federal government's licensed, what we call VTAC stations. Their interoperabilities, and eventually it'll be a nationwide interoperable communications network where a car from California could drive into New York and get on the law channel and talk. That's $73,248. We'll putting a display in alarm notifications in the dispatch center with a price of $100,725. And we're also doing remote consoles for $16,742, and then we're going to put some cameras on some of our tower sites, the remote ones, which we worry about. We've already had some locks broken, etc. These tower sites are critical. It's called SIP, Critical Infrastructure Protection, and we've budgeted $50,273 out of that grant for that purpose. So in saying that, I'd like to amend the budget to move all those monies over to the interoperable communications, or the communications project. So we're basically taking all that grant money and putting it in the radio project.
Moved by Mr. Miga. Second by Mr. Moore. Questions, concerns? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
Okay, and this is something that I've been asked to discuss at the meeting. I don't know if we need a resolution right away, but as you know, almost all the towns use an application called pictometry. That is an application of where you do an overflight, take oblique pictures, and it's spatial. That means you can measure distance, volume, height, that type of thing. It's a product that pictometry puts out, and it's web-based. Virtually many of the departments in the county use it, but my concern is that we use it for public safety. We use it. It was originally designed and built for public safety, and it was purchased by emergency services to locate 911 callers and to locate buildings, etc. It's now used by law enforcement, fire, EMS. But the unfortunate thing is it's old. It's 2010 is the last time the overflight was done. So I'm just bringing that out. The last quote we got, and Charlie Lewis is here, Real Property, because they use it extensively, is we need another overflight, and it's 7 years old. So the last quote we got was $248,000. And I'm proposing that we take monies out of the radio project to upgrade our 911 dispatch center overflight database, and in doing that, we would benefit the rest of the departments in the towns as well.
Again, this is something that has to be done. This is a pretty critical piece of what we use, not only in there, but for virtually everybody in the county uses it for one purpose or another. I think the 250 is a conservative number. I think the number that he originally talked to us about, it was based upon, some slimmed down version of what we have. I think if you're going to do this, you probably should assume it's going to be around 350 or something to get the kind of detailed pictures that you probably want. What we talked to him about when the salesman from Pictometry talked about this, we talked about maybe excluding some of the state land, because obviously the state land never changes, but he got back to us and essentially said that's not really practical, because you can't stop flying the plane in the course of a flight to say, well, it's state land, now I'm going to stop, or whatever the case may be. But so I don't know. I think we can get a firm price, but I think if you move forward, I think you should expect it to be closer to the 350. I also have had some interest from some of the utility companies in sharing the cost. Unfortunately, it's been difficult to get an answer out of them in terms of their upper management coming back to us and saying they will or won't participate. I guess, though, given the age of our current images, that we should move forward. If, in fact, the utilities want to be a player in this, they're going to have to come up with some money to offset the cost for us. But again, I'm at the point, it's been 6 months trying to get an answer out of some of these utility companies. I don't think we can keep doing this. I think we need to move forward and get our photos done now. So.
Okay, we gonna move this? Do you want to move this?
Well, I don't know if we're moving anything, but I wanted to make a comment and say that, yes, I understand the age of the photography in the system, and I would say that it'll take a while to update this as well. So just more time is going to pass. We have a system that we've invested in, and I think we should continue to invest in it. I also realize the other players who use this in real property, as well as our town uses it.
Yes, your assessors, yeah.
I would tell you that I would support updating the photography for the system. It's funny because when you look at Google Earth and then you look at pictometry, which you do blend the two things together in many applications, they don't yield the same picture.
No. Pictometry is usually far superior.
Oh, no question about it, because of the editing capabilities and the dexterity that the system has.
The other issue with this is timing. If you're going to get a contract in place, and if you want it done, you want to do it when the leaves are off. You don't want to take pictures when the leaves are on. They're pretty useless if you do it that way. So if we were going to move forward, we should try to get it in place so that we can have a spring flyover.
Mr. Moore?
Where's the money? Is it coming from the
We
radio?
do actually have the money in the radio project. There's a $1.6 million left in there. We have the money to take it out of there. It's appropriate. It is something that's used specifically for 911 purposes, so it will fit within that radio project expenditure. So we do have the funds there available. It won't affect any other funds.
I think this is pretty critical to not only public safety, but a lot of other departments and the towns, as Wes said. And I'll move the motion to get this thing going.
Okay, moved by Mr. Moore, second by Mr. Whitson. Questions, concerns, Mr. Scottafawo?
I use this site extensively in the GIS, which I'm assuming is the same. The pictometry is used also for the GIS on the real property site?
Real property uses pictometry, but Charlie Lewis could speak to that better than I.
And just out of curiosity, what is the DEC, the APA, the state, all these other state agencies, what are they using?
They actually have some images that they're trying to sell to us now. That's called ortho images. Charlie can talk about it when she comes up. I know they sent us a proposal, but I don't know specifically what they...
I mean, they're always touting shared services and so on. I mean, you might have 5 or 6 agencies out there spending this kind of money to arrive at the same result, which are really,
The DEC,
photography of different areas.
the DEC does a lot of LiDAR, Tom, which is entirely different. It's a topographic. They also do its orthographic, which is straight down, but pictometry takes pictures from oblique angles, 38-degree angles all the way around the parcel, usually at least 5 shots. It's far superior to what the DEC has.
Mr. Moore?
How long does this usually take? I mean, can we get this done before the leaves start?
If we act now, they'll schedule a flight in the spring before the leaves come on. Otherwise, you're going to have to wait till fall. And in fall, it's not as advantageous because the very amount of sunlight is available in the shadows. So it's not as good as if you do it in the spring. But if we're going to do it now, now's the time to move forward.
I agree. I think we ought to move on with it.
Any other questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried.
And that's all I have today, Jim.
Mr. McNally,
Yes.
it's my understanding that the state of New York has purchased numerous trailers that are equipped to deal with emergencies involved with tankers along the railroad. Have any of those trailers been assigned to Essex County, and has there been any trainings involved with the equipment within these trailers?
It's a good question, Mr. Harrington. We actually did receive the trailer 2 weeks ago, and there is training scheduled in the use of the equipment that's inside, which is basically spill response. The trailer is still owned by the DEC. It clearly says on the side, Department of Environmental Conservation spill response. But there are 24 trailers. They're all along the rail corridors. That was a program Governor Cuomo pushed, and we do have the trailer. It's presently being stored at DPW.
Mr. Scottafawo?
Donnie, when CP, I was just reading in the Times-Union last week, when they do their track reports on where they've had issues and so on, do we get a copy of that? I mean, can you find out where there was anything in Essex County that they found, or?
I would have to make an inquiry. Sometimes they'll put one out, a general one, for the overall network, but I could probably make an inquiry as to specifically Essex County's tracks.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Monty?
Tom, that was just listed in the paper maybe a week ago, the areas in northern New York that had issues with the tracks, and I don't think there was anything. I think there was something in Willsboro, Sean. I think there was a couple there, along there, but that was all that I saw that pertained to the North Country. But it is out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's an application you can get on your iPhone that actually will show you every crossing in the network, and it'll actually give you an accident history on the crossing, and everything about the crossing that you could possibly want to know. It's called Railroad Locator, and it's free.
Is there anything else for Mr. Jankovic? Oh, Mr. Monty?
Don, I just want to say, it'd be nice if we got more written stuff from your department. You're one of the biggest areas, and more times than not, you don't have a report, but you come up and you offer us things, and we spend a lot of money moving things around, and I'm kind of slow. I like to see things in front of me and follow it and stuff, and remind me of things. It'd just be nice to see a little more written.
Okay. We do publish an annual report, which...
But I'm talking about coming to the meeting, not an annual report, coming to the meeting with stuff that goes on in the last month.
Okay. We can do that.
All right, thank you. Anything else for Mr. Jankovic? All right, you're all set.
Thank you.
Okay, Emergency Medical Services, Patty Bashaw.
Was here left, right?
Mr. Matt?
I'm here.
Not exactly. But she just gave me a little briefing that basically the vendor's supposed to come back with a report this week, sometime during the week, this week, for the survey that they were doing. And that's about it for now.
Okay, Sheriff's Office? Probation? Does anybody have any questions for probation? Okay, Public Defender.
Here either.
No? Quiet day, must be the cold weather. Anybody have any questions, any comments for the Public Safety Committee?